Here we go. Shmuel Aleph, chapter 6, verse 5. Yasitim Salme. And then we don't say the word as it is written. Rather, we do it with the Kri. It's written apolechem, but we don't read it that way. We read it to chorechem. Okay? So, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, where?
If you see it in verse 5, the third word.
Yeah.
Yasitim Salme, we don't read it apolechem. We read it rather, and that's why there's there should be a star above the Fei.
Yeah.
So then it goes down to the Kri, right here.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
And then it says Tichorechem. Because Tichorechem is a better, as a softer meaning of the word Afolechem. And what it says is you will put these 5 forms of hemorrhoids, of Itzalme Akbarechem, and the forms of your mice, Hamashchitim et arts, the ones that are destroying the land. Untatem lelokei Yisrael kavod, and you will give to the honor to the God of Israel. Ulai yakel et yadom alechem, perhaps God will God will lighten His hand from upon you. Umi'al Elohechem, and from upon your gods. Mi'al artzechem, and from upon your land. So here they're using this language, and they're saying that God will remove it. So the Metzudas David says, what does it mean? The ones who are the forms of the mice, the ones who are destroying the land. You should make the forms of these hemorrhoids and these mice. It's because of them, and that they are the ones that are destroying the land, and through that you will give honor. It's not that God needs these 5 hemorrhoids and these 5 golden mice, or 5 golden hemorrhoids, 5 golden mice. Rather, it's to show honor to Hashem, and to say that these, again, we discussed this last week, that these things that are the plague are going to be what causes the recovery. Remember we said that last week? Okay. So the Malbim goes with this and says, V'yasitim ata, so now he says, ata be'ir ta'am ha'echot lama yuhu b'tzora t'chorem yachbarim. Now the what are they called? The magicians, the priests are explaining how and why to use these forms of the hemorrhoids and of the mice. Because the hemorrhoids are the plague that is plaguing the body, and also the forms of these golden mice that are destroying the land. Why? Because the mice are the ones that are destroying the land and its produce. And the reasons for these forms is that they will give honor to Hashem. Why will they give honor? Ki hatavayim yomer, because the natural way to consider it is, or nature, the people into nature will say that the danger is from that which is hitting them. If one will see the form that was biting him or hitting him, or he was hit from him, for instance, if one would see the form of the dog, a crazy dog that bit him, or a snake, they would become sickened if they would see the form of the dog or the snake. So this is the natural cause, to take it away from them, right? Don't let them see it. But when it comes to a thing that God is going to take away, something that is by God's provision, not a natural thing, So then, as we see, Moshe Tola Nachash and Achoshet Al Nes, that's why Moshe put the snake on top of the staff, like we talked about last week. So then anybody who would look at that staff who was bitten, anybody who was bitten would look at that staff, would see it and live, because they would recognize that death does not come from the snake, rather death and life, by the way, does not come from the snake, but rather it only comes from God. And then, so they would look at that, they would do teshuvah, and they would live. So now these people who are making these forms of these destroyers, namely the hemorrhoids and the golden mice, they are giving honor to Hashem, because they are actively admitting that Hashem is the one who hurts, crushes, and heals in a supernatural manner. And with this, perhaps Hashem will lighten his hand from on you, at least in regard to the hemorrhoids, and on your land, with the plague of the mice. So we have with us, we have two plagues going on simultaneously. We have the hemorrhoids, that's for the people, and then we have the mice who are destroying everything. So if I want to be a naturalist about this, let's see, I don't know what the other word would be, but let's take it like that. If I want to be a naturalist about this, what do? I have a lot of mice. What should I bring? Cats.
Yeah.
Okay. Let the cats eat the mice, and then we'll have to bring dogs and we have Chad Gadya going on. Okay. But if I recognize it's coming from Hashem, so now what I have to do is I have to offer God the golden mouse, as it were. To say, I recognize this is coming from you. That's all I'm doing. I'm recognizing it's coming from you. And same thing with the hemorrhoids. I'm recognizing it's coming from... A hemorrhoid doesn't... it's a bump, it's a rupture. I can't imagine it looks nice. Okay. So you have now a golden one, and you're giving this to God. Again, it's not saying that you needed God. It's saying I represent that, this is representative that you are controlling it. So if you're controlling it, then you're the one who can heal it.
So what is the concept? I mean, from this standpoint of the Felice team, I mean, we wouldn't do anything like that per se.
We did.
I thought it was the Felice team that.
No, but we did it with the copper snake. When the people were bitten by the snake in the midbar, right, in the desert. So what did Hashem say? Hashem said, put a snake on the staff. Anybody who looks at it will live. Because what am I recognizing? I'm recognizing that the snake is not what kills. It's Hashem that kills. So when I look at that snake and I recognize it's from Hashem, now I do teshuvah.
So it was for their purpose to look at it and say it's
right. It's for the police team to say this is not a natural event that's going on. This is coming from God.
Is Hashem?
Say it again.
They're recognizing that Hashem is the one and only.
And the one who's bringing the plagues and the hemorrhoids, correct. Because, again, most people...
Not their false gods. They came to that realization.
Well, it's not only not their false gods, but also not happenstance. Because when you dig up a building, when you do major construction, what usually happens? Mice end up somewhere else. That's always a concern when you're doing construction. Yeah. Because the mice are in the ground and they're happy, and now you do construction, boom, they come out of their little holes, and now suddenly we have an epidemic on hand with the mice. And we say, what happened? It must be, because the guy having construction, he did. We don't say, no, it's not that. Hashem, who kept these mice away until now, for whatever reasons, brought the mice to us. So now, unless we're going to get a Pied Piper or whatever else we're going to do to get these mice away, bottom line is we have to do teshuvah. Okay? Again, if you have financial difficulties, the thing is not to say it's the market. You don't say you don't blame it on the market. The market goes up, the market goes down, right? Trump does what he's going to do. Obama does what he did, and so on and so forth. Up and down, up and down, up and down. So we say over the long term, you're going to get 7%. Well, for those people in 1929, they lost their shirts, right? It created the Great Depression, and then it went back up. I mean, so whatever. But besides that, but at that moment, everybody now has to consider, well. And this goes to the Tuesday course, by the way. Why did it crash? Why was there a worldwide crash? Was it worldwide?
Yeah, I think
okay.
so.
Why? I don't know. I don't know, but neither you. But
the Nazis came out of all that.
All right, that was the crash, the Great Crash. Okay.
So Hitler, Yamach Shmo, he was going to bring the
prosperity back.
Yeah.
Okay. So now that Great Crash, but why that happened? You could argue, I'm not saying it did because of A and B, Z, but you could argue it's because people put their faith in the market, knowing it has ups and downs, but we're going to put our money there, rather than having Amun and Hashem. And on Tuesday, what do we say on Tuesday? I have to know that my money comes from God. I can make my investments, I can do what I want, but I have to understand that any money I make or lose is all because of Hashem. And so if I have that in mind, I'm not going to get, people in the Great Depression, the stories, I'm guessing they're true, committed suicide.
Yeah.
Over this Mishigas.
They were jumping off the buildings.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's only money.
Yeah.
It's only money in the end. So what? Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. You go to the track. You don't, people who go to the track don't jump off the bridge. Okay? And so what you're doing is you're gambling with money. It's a better gamble, you would say, because you're investing in businesses. But nonetheless, it's still a gamble. You don't see people jumping off the bridge when they lose, whatever they lose. Hopefully you don't see it.
Yeah.
We don't have so many reports of that. But we have to understand, again, that that's all from Hashem. So once I give Hashem his due, his honor, it's coming from you. That's what they were saying. That's what the Sarni Pelishtim, the Kohane Pelishti was saying. Now it makes sense that the Kohane Pelishti would say this, that the priests of the Pelishtim would say this. Why? Because they're hooked into religion. So regardless of who they are going to pray to, maybe Dagon, maybe Baal, maybe whoever, Molech, there's a concept that they're bringing to these people that you need to recognize God. And if you recognize God, fine. If you don't recognize God and you think it's going to be nature, which, by the way, they held it could be nature too. They said that we have to have a test. If you hold it, that's what they were saying. If you hold it from God, this is what you do. This is how you assuage God. If you think it's nature, so then try your luck again, but it's not working out for you. How has that worked out for you so far? It hasn't worked out at all, because your crops are being destroyed, you're having hemorrhoids, it's spreading amongst the people, and it's not a good situation. So really, but that's the concept that I think most people, when they read the story, they miss. They think, just give five golden things. God doesn't. They were admitting God doesn't need that. It's for God's honor. What's the honor? Admitting it's from Him. That's the honor. Okay, let's go on. So now it says Valama is 6, right? Valama tichabdu et levavchem. So why should you make your hearts hard? In other words, why should you be stubborn? Just as Mitzrayim and Paro made their hearts became stubborn, they made their hearts heavy. Surely I will not be just as God mocked them. And then they had to send them out, and they went. So he's going to do the same thing to you. If you don't listen to your messages, which is the name of a book, by the way, Listening to Your Messages. I just thought about that. It's written by, what's his name? Rabbi, I forget. So it's a good book. If you ever get a chance to listen to messages, it's a very nice book. I forget who's, it's written by somebody recently too. He gives speeches all the time. Not here, but he gives speeches. One of the rabbis who gives speeches. It's an art scroll book, listening to your messages. But he's basically saying, if you listen to your messages, then, and you recognize it's God, it'll be good. Why are you going to be stubborn like Pharaoh and Mitzrayim were? Which again, it shows that they are still, by the way, think about this, they're still a byword in the system. Egypt is gone for, this is already Shmuel's time, it's already been destroyed for about 100 years. And is still being talked about by the nations. Sort of like when you talk, you're part of Germany, and you hit the Yamach Shemol, how many people, and this is what, 60 years later, people, nearly 70 years, people are still talking about the mistake that he made, namely opening up two fronts. Again, they're not thinking, the mistake they made was he went against God. They're not saying. But why did he lose the war? Because he opened two fronts. No, the reason he lost the war was because he picked on God's chosen people. That's what it was. Now, the fact of the matter is we also suffered a tremendous loss there. But and Hashem said, okay, I have to remove you from the picture. But that being besides the point of this, for this, the question is, just as they're talked about 70 years later, or the Civil War, and so on and so forth that we talk about, all those things are remembered. So here, you would think the Philistines would not have cared about Egypt, but they said, no, don't be like the Egyptians who were stubborn and didn't listen to the message. You have a message. And if you do listen, in the end, it's going to be the same thing. God is going to mock you, and he's going to have you send out these people. Or he's going to make you return the ark, if you will. Okay? And now, okay, wait. I'm sorry, I'm going too fast for this. So now the Malbim says, V'lama, achesh ba'ara she'ela shniya. After they explain the second question, namely in how you should send the gift to its place. Now they decide to answer the first question, which is not the way of a chacham, as we said before. The way of the chacham is to answer the first question first, second question second. They're doing it backwards. Okay, so it shows that they, according to the rabbis at least, are not chachamim. They're not wise people. Shehu, and name, what was the first question? Shehu im yishlechuhu. And that was whether or not we should send it. I'll tell you what we should send. Now you want to know as to whether we should or should not. So here. And this question had really two sides. The first one is yesh lo mashamodim b'davar. The first one acknowledges in the matter, ki Hashem hika gam v'sibad ha'aron. He is hitting also as a result, is smiting them also as a result of the Aaron. V'chol zeh da'atam shelo shalcho b'chashvam ki ha'machala asher chila Hashem bam yesh la hetmadot im ha'chaliyim ha'tavayim sheyesh lam amida. And the reason that you haven't sent it back thus far is because you are holding that this is comparable to a natural disease. Sheyesh lama mida zman that will be healed in a specific amount of time. And now you're considering that after it's been so long, lo timshach od, it won't go any further. So you'll remove it will remove his hand from them. Al ze'amar. So in other words, if you held what he's saying, the first part, you held that you have this disease, and you held that this is a natural disease. And as a natural disease, it has a time limit, an expiration date. So you figured if we just wait it out, it will go away. Even with the mice, they'll go away. Things will go away. And they didn't. So now he says, "V'lama tichvadu et levavchem." So why are you making your heart stubborn? Halo gam Mitzrayim faru chashvu heim kain. You have an example where Paro and where Mitzrayim and Paro also had the same equation. V'chbidu et libam, and they were stubborn. Ki chashvu sheyil'a mehakotam, because they felt that they would outlast, or they would that he would grow weary from plaguing them. And he mocked them by giving them plague after plague, until finally they had to send Bnei Israel. So they're telling him two things already. You think you're good with just the with just hemorrhoids and the mice? Well, if you keep it up, Hashem will give you another plague. Because he did that to Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim said, Hashem will get tired of plaguing us. It's like saying that the guy will get tired of punching you in the face. He's not going to get tired of it. Forget it. So he doesn't pinch you on this way, I'll punch you on the other side. No big deal. Okay. So then you have 7. And now, now here's an interesting thing. They say you should take one new cart. You want to make one new cart. Ushte parot alot, and 2 milk cows. Shelo aleim ol, that never had a yoke upon them. V'yasartem et parot ba'agala, and you want to bind these cows to the wagon. V'ashivotem b'neihem v'achareim v'habaita. And then you want and return their young home from behind them. So I have these 2 cows that are nursing. Okay, they're the milk cows. Their babies are there. Okay, and you're hooking these milking cows, which is not a good thing to do, up to a wagon. On top of that, these cows have never had a yoke on them. So they're not used to, I'm giving you a heads up here. They're not used to pulling a wagon. On top of that, they're young, what are they called, the calves, who are going to moo after them. Okay, they're going to say moo, 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 moo. The mother's going to want to come back to their crying babies, and that would be the natural thing to happen. So you're setting up a whole test. Why? Because you want to make sure that this is really from God. Okay, that's really what it is. So then it says, "L'kachtem et Aaron Hashem." I'll just go another verse here. Then you'll take the Aaron of Hashem u'nitatem oto al ha'agala. You'll put it on the wagon. Ve'kol ve'klei hazahav asher shivotem lo Hashem, and all of the golden vessels that you have sent back to him as a guilt offering. Tasim ba'arges mitzido. You'll put that in a box from its side. And then you will send it, and it will go. And you will see if it goes, if the cows pull it by the border, and it will go up to Beit Shemesh. If that happens, if the cows go back to Beit Shemesh, which is the Israeli border, then you know that God is causing this bad stuff to happen. In other words, the hemorrhoids and the mice. V'im lo, but if not, yadanu ki lo yadona gabanu. Then, if the wagon does not go back to Beit Shemesh, then we will know that his hand was not against us, and therefore mikruhu lanu, and therefore it was all just happenstance. You understand the test? Okay, so that's what's going on. I'm going to set up I'm setting up a major test here. We're going to have the golden hemorrhoids. We're going to have the golden mice. We're going to put it in a box. We're going to put it on a brand new wagon. We're going to hitch up to this brand new wagon cows that never had a yoke on them, so they're not used to pulling anything. On top of that, their calves who are young and mooing after them are going to be kept at home. So now the test is, if this wagon can go and be pulled and brought to Beit Shemesh, that's from God. If not, then it's not from God. That happenstance. And that's the ultimate test that they're setting up. So Malbim says, "V'yata ulam al atzad sheni she'al she'altem shloach et Aaron." So now, with regard to the second question that you had, if we send the ark back. Because you guys have a doubt from the very beginning. Because you're having question whether or not the plagues came upon you as a happenstance or as a result of the Aaron. And because of this, we're going to make a wonderful test. We're going to say, take the brand new wagon. You have to make it a brand new wagon. Why? Imitam kavod. Because if it's for the reason of honor, shediber that you spoke about, that in royal because if it was already used by a commoner, it would not be correct to use it now for a king. It would be like sending my Dodge Dart, my 1960 Dodge Dart, which probably would be a classic at this point, I guess, 1970, whatever, and picking up the president. Okay, it's not proper. I should bring a brand new 2018 is at this point? Yeah. 2018 Lexus. If I'm going to bring a Cadillac, whatever it's going to be. I don't bring a Chevy to a party like that. I bring a Chevy to the beer parties. For all the people who are out there driving Chevys, I like a Chevy, but we understand what I'm saying. Okay. So, tailgate parties. That's what I was thinking of, tailgate parties. And the other thing about a brand new wagon is it's hard to drive. Because unlike a brand new, in other words, if I have a brand new wagon, I would guess the same thing would be with a car to some extent. It's because it hasn't been used. Is brand new off the assembly line, it may be a little hard to manage once in a while. In other words, you're not used to it. Okay? So it's not moving as fast as something that is already been. That's why when you get a new car, there's normally miles on it. Right? It's normally broken in a bit. Yeah. No, just a bit, maybe 1,000 miles, whatever. I mean, you still can break it in plenty more, but you usually have miles on it because they want to make sure that it's good. So here I have a brand new spanking wagon. Who knows what's going to happen? It's not so easy to drive, apparently. Then I have these two nursing cows. Pirish, and again, these nursing cows are not used to be pulling wagons. And 3, that they never had a yoke. And they never learned. They were never taught how to bring the heaviness. And so now you're going to tie them to this wagon, and you're going to keep the babies behind. Because it's a normal thing for mothers to want to feed their young and not to want to leave. It's certainly not to leave to a different land. But then you're going to take the Aaron, then you're going to take the Aaron and the Asham, the guilt offering, and you're going to see if it goes by itself or not. Does this wagon start going? And hold, even if it went by itself, it's still not a good enough test. Even if it starts to move on its own, it's still not a good enough test. You have to see if it goes by itself to Beit Shemesh, Yadu, then you're going to know, then you're going to know everything is from Hashem, because then you're going to know that with his strength, he wanted to return his ark and his strength to his resting place. So that's why they brought it in this way, in this direction. Also the wagon and the ones who were drawing the wagon to a place where there was room to go. V'im lo yad, and if it doesn't go, Yadanu, then we'll know. Rad Salomag Hagam Shalo Yuchal Hachish Zot. We'll also know that you can't contradict this. Ki Bawa Makot the Ragle Aaron, that namely that the Makot, that the plagues came as a result of the Aaron. Shahalo B'chol Makom Ba'u Heichel Hagev, because every place that the ark came, the plagues came immediately in that place. And even with all that, we still had a doubt. Acher v'hu im ba'u ha'makol b'sivat ha'aron o im ba'am ha'makol b'sivat ha'makot. So we had a question: Did the plague come as a result of the Aaron, or suggest that a plague is spreading among the people? Rashli more im made shakatsa im ma shakatsa v'Hashem aleinu hayarak b'shvil shenitam l'shevi uzo ba'ofen sharon hayasiba hatzmit. If it's just the reason that God is angry at us is because we, as it were, captured His strength in the manner that the Aaron was by itself, and that's the only reason the sorrow is coming to us. Or is it the opposite? Or maybe it's God is angry at us for a hidden reason. And that's why He's pouring, in order that He should pour out His anger like water upon us on all sides. That we took to us the Aaron of Hashem, and now and the segula, the result is that He's going to plague anything that touches it. In that way, the makah, the plague, will be from as a result of itself. And that's why He brought the Aaron to smite us. And that's why it was a mikra. Now, it's interesting what he's saying. The Malbim is saying what the priests were arguing was, what is causing the plague? We don't know. Is it because we captured the Aaron, and that's why God is plaguing us, and therefore we have to send it back, and once we send it back, the plague will stop? Or is it that Hashem was angry at us, so then Hashem used the ploy of letting us capture the Aaron, and now once we have the Aaron, so now He's hitting us. But He didn't really care about the Aaron. He wanted to smite us anyway. But in order to smite us and not have us do proper teshuvah, then He sends us another thing that we think, if I just do this, then this will happen. Get rid of A, and everything else falls apart. Okay? So, and then it says, V'yadanu, ki lo naga banu mikrahu, and then if this happens, we'll know that if it doesn't go home, we'll know that it's all mikra. Ratzlemor, Sheba Sheb Mikra, Al Yedei Katzaf Hashem. So we'll know that all of these plagues came as a happenstance via God's anger, because He wanted to punish us. Because of a sin, but a hidden one. And that's how by the way, we'll stop there, but that's the amazing thing about what they're calling the sin. They're saying the sin is a hidden sin. It may be a hidden sin. We don't even know. So here they're recognizing God. The amazing thing that they're recognizing a God in the picture. Then they're saying that their God is more powerful than Dagon. They've already decided that because He killed Dagon, as it were. Then they're saying, well, it could be the Aaron, or it could be something else. But regardless of what, it could be a mikra. But what's mikra for them? What's happenstance? That Hashem is punishing us for a reason we don't yet know.
So they're not taking any chances, in other words.
Right. No, but I'm saying, we know when you think of happenstance, what I'm pointing out is the word happenstance. And I think by mistake, it's by mistake. It happened by mistake. It just things happen, right? Huh. Well, it's not. They're saying no, it's not things happen. They're saying we use the expression things happen, but it's not things happen. Things happen for a reason. The problem is the priests are saying, and these are the priests. The priests are saying the problem is we don't know what the reason is. So that's what we're calling it mikra. It's hidden from us. But we're recognizing, however you want to look at it, that it's coming from God. That's what I'm saying. That's amazing that the Malbim is putting into their mouth. And it's, and maybe that's what, I mean, when I would be reading this, I would be just saying it was just happenstance, a mistake. And they would just say a coincidence, if you will. But he's saying, no, it doesn't mean coincidence. It means, it means something that's from Hashem. Like I said, I think it's a fascinating take on the word mikra. It's interesting in Hebrew. You have the word, and when I was listening to the Israeli speak, he said makara, which means what happened. What does kara mean? What's the accident that happened? From mikra, and it creeps into our language as is instead of what's the reason, masiba, for this. They say makara. What's happening? What's happening? Why is this? It could be a mistake, and I think it goes. Now, if I go with Malbim, so then it makes sense, because I say, why is this happening? What hidden thing am I not understanding about this? And that's why God is doing whatever He's doing, for good or for bad. Makara. But if I'm saying it as just happenstance, Reuven slips on the ice and he falls, and you say, well, what happened? Well, obviously I slipped on the ice and I fell. But the question is, why did you slip on the ice? Why did you fall? Because you don't always fall, you don't always slip. Some people can walk, and so on and so forth. So the question is, why is this happening? And that's a hidden thing. I liked how the Malbim did that. I thought it was very impressive. Okay.